Hi, I'm Anna. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm experimenting with bleach a little bit. So you can see the results of one of them here. I've done some bleaching on this flannel that I attached to this t-shirt, but I've also tried a couple of other ones. And flannels are unpredictable. Even when you use 100% cotton, which I have done today, you get very different results. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've got 3 shirts here that I'm going to sort of play with today just to see what I can come up with. I've got my work surface well covered just in case, you don't want to get any bleach or anything on it. This bucket is where I'm going to put my bleach mixture, and I've decided to go with half and half bleach, half water. Got that there. I've also got some bleach mixed with about 1/3 bleach to 2/3 water in here just to use for spraying and misting effects. This is just full of clear water for rinsing afterwards. And then I've got some rubber gloves to protect my hands. That's just the vessel I'm going to use to mix the equal amounts of bleach and water in. A couple of rags, one just for wiping up any spills or anything. This one's going to be for like bleaching effects, just to maybe dab in and rub on things. And also a couple other things I want to play with is just trying some patterns just to see what works, like perhaps laying that down and spraying around it to see if we can get a peace sign effect. And then also I've seen people do cool things with just sort of laying some doilies down and spraying or misting around it. So I just want to play and have some fun today. So I'm going to go with 50% bleach, 50% water solution. So again, wear your protective gear. If you've got your grubbiest clothes on, that's probably a good idea too. So that feels like maybe about half the bottle or so. And then I've got a full jar of water going in as well. So that's currently a 50% mix. Now, is that enough? Hard to say yet. I think it's going to be. So I'm going to start with it and see how we go. I can always add more if I need it. This is the shirt I'm going to start with, and I want to kind of try the ombre effect on this one. So I've got it buttoned down to make sure the levels stay even. And then I'm just going to fold it in half lengthwise and kind of pick about, I don't know, maybe halfway down. And I'll put the whole thing in there first. And also I'm going to try to keep the left hand out of the bleach. So if I touch up here afterwards, it's not going to get bleach up where I don't want it quite yet. So let's see how we go. Start by putting that all in. Wow, it looks like it might already be showing signs. We'll see. So I've just got it, like I say, approximately halfway. I don't want to leave it in any longer than 10 minutes total because it can start affecting and deteriorating the fabric. But again, some flannels, there's no way of knowing. Some are going to start bleaching immediately. Some are going to take longer. So we'll give this a minute or so and see. That's only been about a minute, minute and a half maybe. I can already see some color in there. It's hard to see because of course it's darker because it's wet. But I'm going to just gradually pull this back a bit, squeeze out any excess, so that what's left in the bottom gets a little bit more bleach than what's on at this level. So this has been in less time than the stuff on the bottom here. Give that just maybe another minute or so. So that's been another minute or so. I'm going to do the same thing. Just squeeze a little excess out, pull a little bit more out, and leave the lower half in for maybe another minute or so. So it's kind of going to have two or three levels to the color, hopefully, if it takes it all, and there's no way to know yet. So it's really hard to tell. I don't see much happening, but I'm not wanting a real dramatic effect. It might not do anything. It's hard to say. Every shirt is different, even if it's 100% cotton, which these all are. You can see some color in the bleach water, so you would think some is coming out, but I really don't want to leave it much longer. So again, I'm just experimenting. We're going to go ahead and wring this out. Now I've got my bucket next to me of water, so I'm just going to go straight in there to give it as much a rinse as possible, but we are going to more thoroughly rinse these after I finish the other two. All right, now I'm going to go straight into the water. I can see a little bit of color in the water. But hopefully we're diluting it enough that it should stop the effect and not damage the fabric at all. All right. So I did take that, I rinsed it as well as I could out here. Then I did take it in the house and thoroughly rinse it. The only place I could find to do that is in my shower. So you would do what works for you if you've got a big kitchen sink. But I just laid it out and kept spraying it and trying to get it rinsed clear as much as possible. It's still got a little bit of color coming out of it, but these are all going in the wash. So next, this one I'm not gonna dunk. I'm just gonna try. I got a little rag here. I'm gonna soak it with some of that bleach and just try rubbing a couple spots here and there. So, and then we'll do some of our misting. Now, I don't want this soaking wet, so I'm gonna wring it out a little, but you do need some, you do need some fairly thoroughly saturated. And then I'm just gonna start dabbing. You get some kind of cool effects if you just sort of squish it up a bit. And you can see the areas that are wet. You can see this one looks like it's taking already. So I'm just going to try to do a little bit everywhere. Okay, now I'm going to flip that over and do something similar on this side. You can see if you look at the sleeve, that is already taken. Every shirt is different. That other one I just did didn't seem like it was going to do anything. This one seems like it will. Again, not too wet, but saturated. So I'm just going to kind of, because this one's taking very well, I'm just going to lightly dab everywhere. And then I might try something else in the middle here. Now I've got a couple of things here I want to try. This is taking so well, I don't know if I honestly need to do this on this shirt. But I'm just going to try a couple of things with my spray here. So I've got a little, this is just a sort of a doily on there to see if I can get a cool effect. I'm going to spray lightly around that. And then I've got a peace sign here as well. Again, because I've already done the dabbing there, I don't know how much difference this is going to make, and it may be none, but we'll see. So I didn't know how much this was going to work because it took so fast. I thought, oh, it's probably too late. I've already got dabs in there. You won't see the peace sign, but I am starting to see it, and it's really only been a couple minutes. I am starting to see a light outline of that peace sign. I don't know if the doily part worked up here, but we'll see. Give that just a couple more minutes to see if that peace sign comes out anymore, and then I'm going to rinse this one. So again, it's not a very pronounced pattern. I don't know how well it's going to take, but I'm really happy with the rest of this, and I don't want it to continue much more, so I'm going to go ahead and rinse this one now. So this is the pre-rinse, and then like before, I'm going to take it inside of my shower. I want to show you that part, but I'm just going to rinse it as much as possible until the water that's in it runs clear. So for my third one, I'm going to try a different technique. I've got this little doily that I'm going to try and use for a mask. I might try it up in the shoulder area here a bit, and I'll just move it around and do it a couple of different places, and then I'm just going to generally mist the area. So on the sleeve here, I might just bring that in and do a bit of sleeve first so I can lay that off the edge. I'm just going to lightly mist it. A couple of places, nothing big. And now I'll place this back where I was going to do that. Now I don't know how well it's going to work. We'll just see if we can saturate that in a little bit more and see if that shows up. And I'll do a little bit of maybe light misting up through here and on this sleeve. And then see if I can move that down here and do it again down in this part maybe. Right, I'm just going to give that a couple minutes before I flip it over just to see if I can notice anything from the doily, whether it's made any effect. Every shirt is different. Like I say, that second shirt I just did, wow, that took color right away. First one didn't. So far, nothing on this one. If I don't see anything, after a few minutes, if I don't see much, because remember, this is a weaker bleach solution in here. If I still don't see anything, I can go back to doing the dab method like I did for that second shirt. It's hard to say. Might be getting a little bit. The sleeve was the first thing we did. Not really seeing anything yet. A little bit down in here, maybe, it's hard to say, but it's only been a few minutes. Okay, I'm still not seeing much, maybe just a little bit of specks here and there. Some of the intersections where the darker pink maybe is a bit lighter and things like that. It's not anything dramatic, but I'm gonna flip it over now and try something on the other side. So again, I don't want the sleeves to be missed completely, so I'm just gonna give some light sprays on there. We'll do this side now. We'll do the doily maybe up here. Bit more saturated this time maybe. It's hard because I've got to keep it upright to spray. There we go. And then I've got this peace sign that I'll lay on here and smooth that fabric out flat as much as possible and center it. Now I'm just going to go all the way around. Okay, so it's been maybe 7 or 8 minutes. I can see the peace sign area starting to pop, but that was a really thick border that I put down. It's much more subtle up here where the doily was, although I can see, I don't know if you can see it on film, but I can just see the edges of some darker doily edges around that. I really wasn't after a dramatic effect with this one anyway, because I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with them. I think I'm going to put them with some t-shirts that I've got that I think would have worked really good with them. So I didn't want really dramatic bleach effects. I wanted subtle. I think this will be. I'm going to go ahead and rinse it out. So here's the results. This one I'm really happy with. This turned out so well. I was considering I might just chop it and put a t-shirt in the middle of it, but now I've got some other ideas because I'm so happy with how that one turned out. This one, not so much. There's a few patches where it's lighter here and there, a couple of flecks and stuff, but by and large, it didn't do much of anything. That's, I think, where I had the doily put up there in the corner. So I'm gonna try something else with that. The strangest one is this one. Now, this is also the thinnest material, so I don't know if that makes a difference, but you can see this strange white streak. Remember, I had gathered this one and sunk the bottom portion in the bleach for a while. So at the point where I'd gathered it and kind of where it was hanging on the edge of the bucket, I guess, that seems to be where we got the most effect of the bleach. It's like a little white stripe running around it, even up into the armpit and around the arm. And from that white stripe downwards, it's essentially the same color, it's just lighter. As you can see, I don't know if it comes across on the camera, but it's darker, more vivid color at the top of the shirt. And from that white line down, it's just faded, just a little bit lighter. So the fact that this part did turn whites, and these are all 100% cotton, as I said, the fact that that is white seems to say it should bleach. So I'm going to try something different. Okay, so I've just got them laid out here on the cement. And in the spray bottle today, I've got 100% bleach. So I'm going to start getting really close and saturating the bottom. Very, like a nice solid layer. And then I'll move up a bit and just kind of back away a little bit. So it's not quite as saturated. And then as I go a little bit higher, I'll come further away and just get less on it. Maybe just a tiny bit up there. I want to do the same with the sleeves. And you can see I've got overspray on the cement, so I'm just going to be careful where I set those actually. So the same thing, at the bottom, I'm going to thoroughly saturate it. And then just a little bit less as I move further up. And just a couple of drops up there. And we'll try the same thing on the other sleeve. So I'm just going to flip that over and do the same thing on the other side. I don't know if you can see it, but you can still see a faint outline of that peace sign on the back. So I'm going to leave the back, but just do the bottom like we did up front. Saturate it a bit more. Again, saturate just the bottom, and then just a little bit less as I move up, and the same over here. Now for this one, it's just so unpredictable. I don't know if the same technique will work. I will kind of do a bit more at the bottom, But then I'm just gonna randomly spray. Give that a moment and I'll flip it over and do the same. So as you can see, that one has really worked well doing the 100% bleach. I don't want it to get any lighter, so I'm gonna go ahead and rinse that one now. All right, here's the other one now that didn't do much even when it was bathing in the bleach. Now that was a half bleach solution, half bleach, half water. This is full bleach, but I'm happy with that. We at least have some texture, something going on now. It's much lighter down here, and there's the front side as well. I'm gonna go rinse that, I'm happy with that. So here's the results after they've been washed and dried. That took much better. That spray bottle method worked so much better using 100% bleach, of course, instead of the 50% blend. You never know ahead of time how they're gonna turn out. So if you're unsure, I would say start with the 50% bleach, 50% water mix like I did, but if you don't get the results you want, try 100% pure bleach. I like this. I've got an idea for it for a future project, so I'm gonna set that one aside for now. Here's the other one. Now it's quite light through the middle. You can see the bleach clearly did take when it was 100%. I still have a little bit of whiteness here where that line was, but most of it's now blended into the rest of the effect, and I think it looks really cool. I've got the perfect idea for this. Come and watch me mash it up with a t-shirt. Okay, I'm just gonna whip through this really quick because I've got another video where I show you how to attach the outside of one shirt to another shirt or a t-shirt. So I'll link to that below if you want to see the full process, but let's just whip through it. So normally when I attach two pieces together, I always say to match the shoulder seam on one garment to shoulder seam in the other. The thing about some shirts, especially flannels, I notice is often the shoulder seam here is not the highest part of the shoulder. If you lay your shirt down flat and get everything positioned right, check where your side seams are and all that, often the highest part is past the shoulder seam. So that's likely the part you're going to want to pin to your other shirt when you're joining these, because otherwise you might find this shifts up higher. So I'm going to put a pin in here or mark this somehow. I might just do it. Just do it like this, just to put a mark there so I know when I join them, that's actually the highest part. So there you have it. Really simple t-shirt flannel mashup, I guess you'd call it. I really like it. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. Hope you liked the video, and if you do, give it a thumbs up and I hope you subscribe.